Hello Templars, and welcome back to my office. Thrilling place. Here's an update on how things are going. Well, not that well, in fact. I've been trying to write, but it's astonishingly difficult to write when you have people at home and the constant interruptions. So interruptions ranging from people asking how to mend a push bike, how to get the gears to work on a push bike, how far they should go for a run. These are things I know nothing about, so why do my kids think I'm a fount of all knowledge? I'm not. Hey ho. But I'm cracking on with the writing. I'm still editing and finishing off one short story, and then I'm going to go and work with the next short story, which will be The Two Old Ladies. And that's hopefully going to be an outline for ideas for a book involving those two characters in future. I tend to find it helps if I'm trying to work out a new novel if I start working on a small range of characters and see how those characters' backgrounds work and how they could meld. So that's all good fun. As soon as I've done that, I'm going to be straight on to Blackjack though. I need to get book 6 out of the way because, well, as things are, and I'm very grateful to all patrons, but all of the events I had, the talking engagements, teaching at Swanwick Writing School, acting as a tour guide expert with the Smithsonian Institute, all of those have gone. So we don't know where our finances are going to be at the end of the year, but probably about half they were last year, which is alarming. Hey ho. But the good thing is, Canelo Books have given me a series of publication dates. So Last Templar came out, I'm just looking at my computer here. Last Templar was out on the, got to find the list, on the 13th of April. So that's now been republished as an ebook. Merchant's Partner is coming out on the 27th of April. Moorland Hanging on the 11th of May. Credit and Killings on the 25th of May, Abbott's Gibbet on the 8th of June, Leper's Return 22nd of June, Squire Throwley's Heir 6th of July, and Belladonna at Belston 20th of July. Now, I don't want to sound optimistic about what's happening with the virus and so on, but at least people can go and buy e-books even when there's all the difficulties with lockdown and so on. So hopefully those launch dates in the middle of the virus won't affect the sales too badly. I don't know. I'm going to be scurrying around doing as many reviews and whatnot on the internet as I possibly can. Talking about reviews, I'm starting to do some reviews on my blog again at Writerly Witterings. I've been given a few books recently because a lot of authors obviously were having hardbacks come out at this time of year, such as Dan Jarvis with his autobiography. For those who are abroad, he's a UK MP, but he used to be in the army and he's had a very good life. He never got injured in war or anything, but he has fought in Afghanistan and Iraq and in Kosovo in the 90s. But the main thing about him is that he's written a story that's more the story of him and his wife, who very sadly, they met in 2000 and married very quickly, but she died of cancer in 2010. And it's a really barnstorming story because it's a really good story about his time in the army and the military. It's a love story about him and his wife, and then the death of his wife and what happened to him afterwards, how he had to look after the kids and so on. It's a really interesting book and very poignant. So that's a book called Long Way Home. Hold on. Since I've got it here. Long Way Home by Dan Jarvis. Really excellent, excellent read. I can recommend that to anyone. What else have I been getting up to? Well, I've been talking to those very nice people at Conway Stewart because the company folded back in, I don't know, about 10 years ago, I suppose. I've always loved them, and I worked with them to create the Detection collection, and especially the Michael Jex pen, which was lovely. And they got in touch with me, and I've been talking to them for the last few weeks because they were bought out by a company called Bespoke British Pens down in Portsmouth. And what happened was Bespoke British Pens bought up lots of the bits that Conway Stewart had, and they've started putting them all together. So they've started making things like the Conway Stewart Churchill again, and the Conway Stewart Wordsworth. Now these two pens, I mean, basically I'm just doing some reviews of the pens for them, and then the pens have to go back, which is very sad. But when I look at the price of these things, the Churchill is £410 plus 82 sales tax, so 500 quid. And the little Wordsworth is £315 plus 63, so 380 quid. That's a lot of money. But I have to say, these are just magical. This in particular, this Wordsworth, I find absolutely delightful. Small enough to slip into your shirt pocket. It's got a wonderful nib, really good for sketching as well as writing. And yes, it's expensive. If I had the money, I'd get one. Really gorgeous. So what's happening is Conway Stewart are sending me 2 new pens every week or so. I'm testing them, reviewing them, putting them up on YouTube with the standard reviews, and then basically I've had the fun of using these things for 2 weeks and then they go back. Not bad though, not bad. What else have I been up to? Well, as a lot of people will know, I love my notebooks. So I have battered little notebooks like my Midori Traveller's Notebooks. This is the one I generally use for sketching. I've got dozens of these things, Leuchtturms, and recently I've picked up a William Hanna notebook, which is lovely because it's gorgeous leather on the outside, suede, contrasting suede on the inside, and it's great because you can take pages out, pull them out, but then put them back in any order you want. Really useful ring system. I thought that's a handy idea actually. I ought to have one of them that's smaller that I can just carry with me all the time. So I made myself this, which is quite simple. It's just a little notebook. It takes similar rings to an Atoma or William Hanna type system, and it's perfectly handy for carrying around all day, every day. Because the trouble is I'm spending too much time in here right now. And I keep talking about showing you what my office is like, don't I? Let's have a quick look now, because it's probably time I honoured the promise. So I'm going to reverse out of the way here and just show you that the main part here is all books along this entire wall, going out to the window at the far end. And what I do is I tend to have the books I'm going to be working on most often right to hand here. So you can see that there are, for example, I'm just making sure this is in the right area, yep. So you've got Tudor London, medieval town plans, men-at-arms, forces of the Hanseatic, a history of London prisons. Now that one's fascinating, that's really useful. Freeing the Innocent. Stephen Jacobi was going to be a guest talker at the Crime Writers Association annual convention, which I was organising, which obviously has been put on hold. But he was going to be a speaker, and he gave me that book to show what his life was about, because he set up a charitable organisation called Fair Trials Abroad, I think it was. Then there's The Elizabethan Underworld by Salgado. That is a fantastic book. Essential research again for my Bloody Mary, Blackjack series. As is Ruth Goodman's How to Behave Badly in Renaissance Britain. Very handy. London Lives, that's very useful. the archaeology of medieval London. So I've got all of the books here that I really need. In the same way, up here, Elizabethan books, Elizabethan inventories and wills, medieval combat, churchwarden accounts, the straight track, the England of Elizabeth I. All of these are the books that I need all the time, and they are right behind my desk, which is useful. My desk I'm not going to show you because it's full of an awful lot of junk right this minute, but that's the essential research. That's where I grab it from when I'm in a hurry to start working. And now, that is a very brief update. I do apologise for that, but at the end of the day, it's a bit difficult to know what to talk about. When you're stuck in a room writing, it's a bit tedious to just say every week, well, I've been sitting here writing, but that's all I've been doing. Sorry. Anyway, the next thing is to go out and help my little boy try to get the gears to work on his push bike again, because he wants to go out for a long cycle ride tomorrow, which will be today by the time you see this. And I've got a horrible suspicion he's going to want me to go with him. That's not going to be so easy, because walking the dog, not last week, the week before, I decided in my stupidity as a nearly 60-year-old man to chase after my hound because she had a stick and she wanted me to chase her. So I chased after her. I took one pace and tore the muscle in the back of my calf, and I've been limping ever since. So if my son wants me to cycle with him tomorrow, that could be problematic. It's just about healed now, so I could walk on it again. But going for a cycle ride, pushing down on those pedals, I'm not sure how much good that would do me. Still, no doubt he won't care. So wish me luck. Have a great day. Hope you've had a good week, having a good weekend. Apologies that this is a bit brief, but by the nature of it, I'm afraid sometimes these will be. But I hope you're keeping safe and well. Thanks a lot for your patronage. Thanks a lot for watching this, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.